I'm a 29-year-old guy from a tight-knit small town where secrets are hard to keep. My best friend, who I'll call Jake, was like a brother to me growing up. We spent our teenage years exploring every corner of our town, playing sports together and dreaming of launching a business one day. Our bond was unbreakable, or so I thought. Even after high school sent us down different paths, we stayed close, always catching up like no time had passed. A couple of years ago, I moved back to our hometown, settling into a small apartment near my childhood home. Jake was back too, bouncing between jobs while figuring out his future. We'd hang out, share beers, and swap stories about life and love. Then I met Sarah, who I'll call my girlfriend for this story, at a mutual friend's house party. She was warm, witty, and easy to talk to, with a genuine vibe that felt rare. Our connection clicked instantly, and soon we were dating. Sarah and I grew close fast, spending evenings strolling through town, eating at local spots, or watching movies at my place. Early on, she mentioned she was infertile, saying a doctor had diagnosed a condition that made pregnancy highly unlikely. I believed her. Why wouldn't I? It was a serious claim, and it shaped how I approached our relationship. Meanwhile, Jake became a regular part of our hangouts. The three of us would play games, hit the bowling alley, or grab drinks. I was glad my best friend and girlfriend got along so well, but I started noticing Jake texting Sarah more often and the two of them sharing private jokes. I brushed it off as harmless camaraderie. Things took a turn one Friday night after a grueling work shift. I stopped by Jake's place to see if he wanted to grab food, but he didn't answer. Later, I learned he and Sarah had been hanging out without me, claiming they'd tried to reach me, but my phone was off. I let it slide, but more warning signs emerged. Sarah grew distant, taking secretive phone calls and dodging weekend plans with excuses about needing space. Jake started flaking on our usual meetups, always with a vague reason. My instincts screamed something was wrong, but Sarah insisted I was paranoid and needed to trust her. Then came the bombshell. Sarah announced she was pregnant. I was stunned, given her claims of infertility. She casually said doctors make mistakes and miracles happen. For a moment, I was excited about the idea of a kid, even if it was unexpected. But those nagging red flags, her evasiveness, Jake's odd behavior, resurfaced. 2 weeks later, Sarah admitted the baby might not be mine. She claimed she'd had a drunken one-night mistake with Jake, blaming it on a moment of weakness. The betrayal hit like a freight train. My girlfriend, who swore she couldn't conceive, was pregnant, possibly with my best friend's child. I demanded a paternity test. Sarah resisted, saying it would hurt her to confirm the father, while Jake offered weak apologies, muttering, "Man, I didn't mean for this to happen." Soon, I learned their mistake was no one off. It was a full-blown affair. Worse, they had the nerve to suggest I should help pay for the baby, even if it wasn't mine, because I was more financially stable than Jake. Sarah argued it was my duty since we'd been together longer. Jake added that I'd be abandoning them if I didn't step up. Their gall left me speechless. I called my uncle, who knows family law, for advice. He explained that child support hinges on legal paternity, and if I wasn't the father, no court could hold me accountable. He urged me to consult a lawyer and avoid signing anything acknowledging paternity until the test results were clear. I stayed calm despite my rage, knowing one wrong move could trap me in a legal nightmare. Sarah kept guilt-tripping me, saying I was abandoning her in her time of need. Jake texted things like, "We can sort this out, bro," as if it was a minor hiccup. One night, Sarah used a key I'd given her to let herself into my apartment. She packed up some of her stuff and tried to convince me we could co-parent, regardless of the baby's father. Her emotional plea felt manipulative. When I pressed her about her infertility claim, she admitted she'd exaggerated a doctor's warning about conception difficulties, spinning it into a definitive, "I can't get pregnant," to ease my concerns about protection. That deliberate lie fueled my anger. She'd misled me into a vulnerable position. Things escalated when Jake invited me over to talk, only to ambush me with Sarah about child support. Jake claimed I was better equipped to help since his job was unsteady. I reminded him he was likely the father, not me. That night, I decided to protect myself. I cut off all financial support and told them I wouldn't pay a dime without paternity proof. Sarah accused me of turning a personal matter into a legal fight, but I was done with their games. My parents caught wind of the drama. My mom worried I'd be stuck with child support, while my dad was furious at Jake's betrayal. They advised me to secure my apartment, so I changed the locks and told Sarah she'd need to schedule any visits to collect her things. She texted angrily, claiming I'd abandoned her during her pregnancy. Jake sent messages about how my pride was tearing us apart. I refused to meet them without a paternity test and warned that I'd take legal action if they tried to pin financial responsibility on me. I was certain I wasn't the father, but their audacity grew. They spread rumors among mutual friends, painting me as the guy abandoning his pregnant girlfriend. Some friends contacted me, outraged that I'd ditched her. I started collecting evidence, texts, call logs, photos proving their months-long affair. If they pushed me, I was ready to expose them, socially and legally. We scheduled a non-invasive prenatal paternity test at a trusted clinic using Sarah's blood sample and cheek swabs from Jake and me. Sarah glared at me during the procedure while Jake acted like it was no big deal. The clinic said results would take a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, Sarah and Jake ramped up their smear campaign, telling friends and even my relatives I was shirking responsibility. My cousin called, confused, but I clarified the truth, and he promised to set others straight. I also learned Sarah was exploring ways to name me as the father on legal documents after the birth, hoping I wouldn't contest it. My uncle warned that failing to challenge such a claim could legally bind me to child support. A week later, Sarah invited me to her parents' house for a talk. Her parents, who I'd met before, were distant but civil. This time, her dad pulled me aside, insisting I take responsibility for Sarah because she was my girlfriend. I explained the paternity test and the likelihood that Jake was the father. Her mom argued that real men don't abandon pregnant women, regardless of biology. Jake chimed in, accusing me of being heartless. I snapped, telling him I'd walk away completely if the test cleared me, and I'd fight any attempt to trap me legally. Her dad called me cruel. Sarah stormed off crying, and I left, feeling cornered but resolute. When the clinic called with the results, they confirmed I was not the father. Relief mixed with fury at their scheme to exploit me. I sent the results to my lawyer, along with all my evidence of their deception, texts, voicemails, and timelines. I met Sarah and Jake at my attorney's office, where I handed them the test results. Their confidence crumbled. Jake mumbled that he never meant to push me, while Sarah avoided eye contact. I revealed I had proof of their lies and warned that I'd expose them if they kept slandering me. My lawyer added that falsifying paternity documents could lead to serious legal consequences. Sarah broke down, accusing me of ruining her life. I reminded her of her fertility lie, the affair, and their attempt to extort me. Jake whined about his financial struggles, but I shut him down. I shared the truth with mutual friends, sending them the paternity results and evidence of the affair. Many apologized for believing the lies, while others distanced themselves from Sarah and Jake. Jake's family was humiliated, and he left town to avoid the gossip. Sarah moved in with relatives, facing her pregnancy without my support. If Jake was the father, he was on the hook for child support. When people asked why I abandoned Sarah, I explained the Columbia paternity test and the affair. The backlash faded, and life slowly returned to normal. I threw myself into work, hit the gym to burn off stress, and rebuilt ties with loyal friends. My mom warned me never to let anyone exploit my kindness again, and I took her advice to heart. This experience taught me to set firm boundaries and verify facts before committing to anything serious. Legally, I was safe. My lawyer confirmed I couldn't be held responsible for a child who wasn't mine, especially since I never acknowledged paternity. Sarah and Jake eventually stopped harassing me, knowing I was prepared to fight back in court. I heard Jake was working multiple jobs to get by, and Sarah was still navigating her situation. People sometimes ask if I'd forgive them. Maybe someday, but not now. I'm content knowing I stood my ground, exposed their manipulation, and protected my future. They underestimated my loyalty, but I made sure they regretted trying to exploit it. Thank you for watching Story. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell for more real-life stories.